Let's pay a visit to Mark's True Crime Corner.
This is not a good neighborhood. I'm scared.
Now, here's your host, Mark Thompson.
And our guide through a True Crime Corner is my other half, Courtney.
Hello.
Courtney, who you have a guest with you today.
I have a guest, and I'm very excited about this guest.
And she has better lighting than anybody on our show.
It's true.
It's crazy.
It's
Look at
true.
that. Good for you.
Better lighting and
help
sound.
you, Mark.
Sheila, how about a welcome for
Yes.
Sheila?
Sheila
Hi,
is
everyone.
amazing. Yeah, Sheila's a huge fan of the show.
Well,
And
that,
I'm a
of course, is something we
Patreon
have.
subscriber.
Patreon subscriber.
I love
third
that.
generation KGO listener.
Wow. Isn't that great? That's
I know.
really
Wow.
cool.
I
Very
actually
cool.
have gotten you tons of followers, Mark. I have told everybody when you guys disappeared. So hi to my friends out there that are listening.
Sheila is out there doing the heavy lifting
I
to
know.
make the show better.
Yeah,
Yes, I am.
I love it.
doing the Lord's work.
That's really great. I mean,
There's never been anything
Yeah.
like this.
yeah.
And that's a good segue to what we're going to talk about today.
All right. Well,
Yes.
Sheila is here because she is something of a
She's a true crime fan and
Yeah.
hobbyist.
Correct.
Yeah,
Okay.
but has been watching the Karen Reed trial every day. And by the way, we're on day 19. Right? And these are like 8-hour days, some of them. And so
Oh no, 2
Sheila,
days a week or half days.
there you go. Yeah.
Have you served on a jury before, Sheila?
I have not, but I am a member of a family that's been a victim of a crime. And that's how I got into this, but I will not speak on that because of privacy and family.
Of course. Don't worry
They
about
don't
it.
want to be victimized any further.
Of
So,
course.
yeah.
These are
So
weird
I
times
come
in
to
this
it
world. So, yeah.
generally as more of the prosecution side. But when I first saw this case, I read about it on Apple News. And I was like, a girl got in a fight with her boyfriend and ran him over? Like, that doesn't make sense.
Right.
So I started delving into this trial. And because I'm on YouTube every day watching the Mark Thompson show, I started seeing things. And then I started watching the pre-hearing trials. And I started messaging Courtney going, oh my God, have you heard of this story? Like,
Yeah.
this is just wild.
Wild. So Sheila's messaged me. She's so great. She's messaged me every day during the trial. We've been chatting about this trial.
Yeah, you two together.
And
It's like,
I know. It's really, I've found my twin flame. Really.
Yes. Woohoo.
well, let me just, can we just, for those who may
Yeah,
not
talk
know,
about the trial or the case.
what is this case again, just to remind us, please?
You want me to do it? Courtney?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure.
Okay,
Sheila.
so Karen Reed was out with her boyfriend, John O'Keefe, who's a Boston police officer. They went to an after party. And first of all, who goes to an after party after 40? I don't know. Anyways, they go to an after party.
Who goes to the first part of the party?
Right, exactly.
But there's a shot of the two together. They look
Yep,
happy.
they
in
look
that
happy.
picture.
He's
Yeah.
a Boston-
They look happy. And they go to an after party, and she decides she doesn't want to go in. There's a little bit of a weird situation with one of the guys. So she drops him off, goes home to his house, and he's raising his niece and nephew. And so she goes home. She hangs out waiting for him to come home, and he never comes home. So in the morning, she contacts the niece upstairs, and she calls this other lady that's a friend at the house. It's a sister-in-law, Jen McCabe. And they go looking for him. She says, I think I left him at the waterfall, this bar they were at. She says, no, you left him at my sister's house. And so they go, let's go back there. So they go back and they find him dead on the snow on the lawn. And there's a storm going on, and there's been like 6 inches of snow, but there's only 2 to 3 inches of snow on him. The whole thing is crazy.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
pretty big.
I know.
Right? There's all these people in the house, but everybody left and nobody saw him on the lawn. How do you miss a 6'2", 217-pound man in the snow on the lawn? It's just wild.
Yeah.
So that's where.
So those are the
those
facts.
are
So
the
tell me, well,
facts.
who's being tried? What are they? What's
Karen
happening?
Reed, so his girlfriend,
The girl that we see in these pictures
Yeah.
now.
correct. She is a professor, an adjunct professor. She's extremely brilliant. She has no reason to go kill her boyfriend. She could break up with him and go back to her own house. She has her own house. So the whole thing is just nuts. And like I said, I'm not usually on this side, but this is it's just really bad.
So when you say this side, you mean the defense? You think she has been wrongly accused?
From
here.
my family history, I've generally been on the other side. But I'll tell you, so these are my top 10 reasons why I feel Karen Reed is innocent. Number 1, John's Apple Watch says he did walk in the house. So the police, they're at another police's house.
No, that's right. This is a function with many police people there, right?
And I think a good setup is John was murdered, and there's either one of two things happened. Either Karen killed him by driving over him, or he was killed in the house by the party goers. And then
dragged out.
And then dragged outside. So one of these two things happened, and the case is about finding out which one.
I see. Mm-hmm. And just on the driving over him, there were signs that the body had been under a car or something, had been driven over or not? No?
No.
So where did this driving over him come into the narrative?
Well, I believe the people in the house that framed her came up with that idea.
I see. They said, he must have been. Okay.
Federal investigation, and they say there's no signs that he was struck by a car. But there's lots of other signs.
Yeah. But just to add to that, when they found John's body in the morning, Karen, his girlfriend, and 2 other women, one of them being Jennifer McCabe, who was at the party, it is alleged that Karen said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. So there's an alleged confession by Karen at the scene of the crime. But that was never in any police reports, and it's just being referenced, right? Yeah.
She came up with that later. Mm-hmm. At the first interview, she said, Jen McCabe said, Karen said, did I hit him?
Oh, did I?
And that has evolved 3 times now into on the stand. She hit him, she hit him, she hit him.
I see.
Got it.
And Jen McCabe is not.
Yeah. So then that could have been manufactured by the people in the house. Yeah.
Who was at the Waterfall Bar and Grill, it says on screen, and then there are a number of people
Courtney.
There. Go ahead, Tony, can you put that back up?
Yeah,
please?
so these are all the people that pre-partied with them at the bar before they went back to the Albert's house, Brian and Nicole. And so
we literally need a flow chart.
So again, not to be too flip about it, but I mean, this looks like, a game of Clue. I mean, or like the Murder on the Orient Express. I mean, there's so many people here. Are all of these people those who couldn't have knowledge of what happened?
Or
were they just at the bar where they were partying?
They were at the bar partying, but a lot of people went back to the house. Okay. But you've got a family tree that also works as a network of involvement within this case. And that includes a lot of people that are part of the Boston police. And so suddenly a case that involved the police has these tentacles that go out to people who are helping investigate it, federal officers. Like it just,
so
there's a
speak
lot
to me
of,
about the investigation. What did the investigation show? And was it done shoddily, or did it appear to be filled with cover-up?
Understatement of the year. It was so shoddily done. They didn't even search the house. The guy is missing a shoe. He's dead on the front lawn, and they don't go ask if they can search the house because they're all friends.
Yeah.
The lead investigator is a cop. The guy inside the house is a cop. His sister-in-law is Jen McCabe. She's the one that Googles house long to die in the cold at 227. I mean, I'm getting off of my track.
No, but this is why
the carpet was removed from the house. The house was sold after the crime happened under market value.
Less?
Yes, the house had been in the family, Brian Albert's family, for 50 years, and they sold it after.
How quickly can they roll up the carpet and then sell the house? Did they do that in weeks? Was that roughly the timetable? I mean, it seems to me that that's
it was like a 6-month period. They
slow walked this investigation. They didn't do the basic stuff. These are the Boston police officers?
Yeah.
Wow.
No, Canton.
Canton.
The city of Canton.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
So that makes it a
also,
small town. Everybody knows
Yeah,
everybody on the
sorry.
force. I see. Okay.
exactly. That's the big problem right there. So John was also missing 3 pints of blood. And so that's why the rug being pulled up, as Courtney was referencing, is super important. The people in the house state that John never came in the house, but John's Apple Watch says he walked in the house and he went up and down 3 flights of stairs. There's no stairs on the main floor. So if you go downstairs, upstairs, downstairs, how do you get out? Or upstairs, downstairs, upstairs. You either jump out the window or you're carried out the back door. I mean, right there, right?
Wow, that's damning.
The watch only shows him going in, and there's
That's
no
really
3
damning.
flights
exactly.
of stairs.
Yeah.
I just got goosebumps. Like, it's so crazy.
And his
They never
injuries.
searched the house.
Yeah, they never searched the house.
Leave that up there if you would, Tony, because there's a lot of information on there, if you would. Upon arrival, John took estimated 80 steps in those first 3 minutes. Yeah.
And his injuries are similar to a dog attack, and there was a dog inside of the house. So they had a German Shepherd named Chloe, the family did,
And a fist fight.
and a fist fight. So
Wow.
that really also speaks to something happening inside of the house. And to the point that you were making earlier, Mark, about the sort of shoddy investigation, when the police were
God.
collecting the evidence outside of the home, Sheila can speak to this, but they were using red Solo cups as the containers
Like-
by which they were collecting the evidence.
Keg drinking
Are
Yeah.
you kidding me?
red
So
Solo
they
cups.
put the
No joke.
evidence collected at the crime scene in red Solo cups.
One of the
That
police
they
officers.
borrowed from
Yeah,
their
they live
neighbor.
nearby. And he got this red Solo cups. And they also used a leaf blower to try to, quote, blow away the snow so they could find more evidence. But of course, that's blowing away evidence.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's remarkable.
I also heard, Sheila, he was found face down and they had to roll him over, but that was only found out through the 911 call by Jennifer McCabe. And so there was some talk about how if you were to leave a body in the slow, like maybe you would leave the body on their back and not face down. I'm not sure. And I don't know how much that creates issue in what this
I
investigation.
don't have any knowledge of that. I think I've heard it one time really quick somewhere, and it might have been you on here. I'm not really sure, but they're just getting to the medical testimony now. It would make no sense if she hit him that he fell on his face. I mean,
Yeah.
so
Of the
Exactly.
people that we're seeing, of course, put it back up there if you would, please, Tony. Of the people that we're seeing, Karen Reed, who's in the lower left, she is the one who's on trial for murder. She seems to be oddly disconnected from all of this. I understand that her boyfriend is the guy who got killed, but of all of the people, she dropped him off. And then we know that his Apple Watch actually recorded him entering the house, etc. So he was very much alive.
Right.
It's an odd and seems to me sort of a tenuous connection that they make between his death and her. Where
Right.
does that come in?
it literally comes in like the one lady Googled how long to die in the cold at 2:27.
But who was that of the people we're
Jen
seeing?
Jen
McCabe.
McCabe.
Jen McCabe.
So
Okay.
Jen
Yeah, yeah.
McCabe is the sister-in-law. Her sister lives in that house with Brian Albert. I'll tell you this other crazy fact. I mean, like I was screaming went to Courtney in Twitter DM about the red Solo cups and the leaf blower, but Jen McCabe Googles how Haas long to die in the cold at 2:27. Now they all say that, oh no, that was at 6:20 when she told me to do it. But the crazy thing is, Jen McCabe picks her up and drives her over to her sister's house. She doesn't really know these people. She knows Jen McCabe. And through
Karen.
John's niece. Yes, Karen, sorry. So they drive up. She sees the body. Well, Karen was calling John's phone, as any girlfriend does when their boyfriend doesn't come home. And Karen drops her phone and runs out and jumps on top of John to warm him and try to save his life. Well, Jen calls in the house and tells them, and this is being recorded by John's cell phone, his voicemail, that Karen dropped her phone. Well, they played that last week, and you can hear her saying, we're not coming out. Okay, and two things really quick about that. I had a car crash on my lawn when I was like 10 years old. I was woken up by the police lights, everything on my front lawn going, what the heck happened? This is a first responder. He's in his house. There's 2 ambulances. There's 3 trucks, fire trucks. There's police. He never comes out. My brother was a paramedic. I told my brother, even if my ex-boyfriend that he hates was almost dead on my lawn, I would be banging on his door to come save his life, not call 911.
It doesn't really make sense. So we've got to wrap up, but I'm just curious so where are we? You're saying the medical information is going to be brought into the...
So today is the first day that there's been a medical person on the stand, and she found no blood on the undercarriage of the car. Also, the tail light, they put those red Solo cups in a bag inside the Sally port at the police station, opened and not protected forever. The scene was never held tight for 8 hours. The defense brought that out today. And then all of a sudden, miraculously, after there's been 18 inches of snow, they find 35 pieces of the taillight in the snow after there had been a leaf blower used and all that. So we're day 19, and we've got
this is all these forensics.
Yeah, it's interesting. The prosecution chose to start with character witnesses almost, and people who are witness to the crime. So really none of the forensics have been spoken about, which is interesting because what you would traditionally do in this kind of a case is you set up a timeline of what happened and you show the evidence. To this date, and this is day 19, the jury still doesn't know what John died of. And that's crazy because it's been so much other information surrounding the case.
But we know there was trauma involved, and then he was left out there in the cold.
He lost 3 pints of blood, but they only found like a half a cup or something like that in the snow. So I think it's in that carpet that they rolled up, replaced, rehomed the dog, and sold the house.
There's one more thing I want to mention is that at 2 o'clock in the morning, there were like 9 butt calls,
the butt
they're
dials.
saying. How many butt dials can a group of 4 to 5 people have within an hour?
You're saying, I'm sorry.
Saying they're saying they butt dialed one another. Each of the networks. The guy who owned the home, the ATF officer who's alleged to have beaten up John, Jen McCabe, who we were talking about.
There's a prosecutor who actually...
Who searched how long to die in the cold. All of them, quote, had butt dials, 9 of them within like an hour.
They're bringing this case. It's crazy.
It's really crazy.
Also, one more super important thing. They all were served on September 30th with a notice to save their phones and any contacts they had with each other. Miraculously, they all got new phones, new carriers, and changed their phone numbers on September 29th. So it almost sounds like maybe they would have got a heads up from one of their police buddies that was going to happen.
Oh,
crazy, right? I know. It really is.
This really is. I mean, it seems so clear when you guys lay it out this way. It's remarkable. I wonder if it'll be clear to a jury. But also, I wonder, even if it's clear to a jury, if they won't, reopen this investigation. Certainly, there should be some kind of internal affairs investigation.
There is.
One is open.
There is, and they can't mention it in the trial. The lead guy, Proctor, and now.
Oh no, we lost Sheila.
We lost Sheila for a second.
One of my fans from the show, Kristen. We're not hung up yet. She's listening.
That's funny. But yeah, there's an internal investigation that's been opened
Guys,
up.
I'd love to. I know it's a case with a bunch of details, and the details are important. I'm just out of time right now, but I'd love for you to come visit again. There is the Tangle of the Web, the key players in the Karen Reed trial, and how they're connected. If those of you who are listening want to go back and follow this conversation with some visual supports, we have them up for you. Sheila, how cool to meet you this way.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys.
I would imagine Courtney will love the fact that now that you're in touch, maybe you'll be along for an assist on this case. It's a very high-profile case, and I'd love to have you back.
Thank you so much. I would totally love to come back. Thank you, guys.
Sheila, everybody, and that is True Crime Corner for today.
True Crime Corner, only on the Mark Thompson Show.
Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell, you'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.